be reacting again because I want to.
Everybody, respectfully, shut the fuck up. Send someone magnet theory. There it is. Ah! Woo! There it is. Ah! Oh! Ah! Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, the show that, if consumed too quickly, will cause a theory headache. Make sure you consume responsibly.
Oh, McDonald's is a real estate company.
All the food I eat has been a lie.
Medium fries are a waste of money?
Man, some people just can't hold their theories.
What type of dessert person are you? Everyone has their favorites. Some people are all about the baked goods. Others are chocoholics. Based on our last episode, they're probably healthier because of it. Me, though, I'm all about the frozen treats. Ice cream, milkshakes, slushies. I need them big and I need them fast, which means that I tend to get brain freeze. A lot of brain freeze. Yet, no matter how many times I get burned, those sharp shooting headaches don't seem to slow me down. I want to be hurt. I need to be hurt.
People might mistake me for some kind of a masochist.
Okay, maybe I don't need to be hurt that badly, but it does make me ask the question, can brain freeze kill me? I mean, something is going on that's causing huge amounts of sharp, intense pain in my scullular region. It's kind of an important part of the body. Pain happening there is probably not a good sign, right? It's probably my body telling me that I should stop, or at the very least, slow down. And yet I don't. I steer into that skid and double down.
Oh, whoa, yo, hold up now, man. You gonna continue to eat the froyo even on top of the brain freeze?
But like, what's the risk of doing that? Could I pass out? Could I die? So today we're looking into the science and strategies of brain freeze. What causes it, what we can do to prevent it, whether certain things provide it more than others, and whether the cold can kill.
If it's good, I'll edit it good.
In order to understand whether brain freeze can kill us, we first have to understand what exactly it is. Its other name, ice cream headache, really does the most accurate job of summarizing the sensation. A small but intense version of a headache right above the eyes. So, talking about the science of headaches seems like it should be a great place to start. Now, obviously there are lots of different types, but in general, headaches like cluster headaches, hypertension headaches, and migraines are thought to be associated with a common function known as vasoconstriction. Vaso meaning vein, and constriction meaning a tightening. Literally, your veins being squeezed. Think of your vessels as highways and road systems in your body. Wider roads means more blood flowing all over your system. Suddenly narrow those roads and your whole body becomes like Los Angeles at rush hour or any other part of the day. Huge traffic jam. We experience vasoconstriction and its opposite, vasodilation, all over our bodies all the time in order to help deliver blood to the places where it's needed and steering it away from the places that aren't doing as much work. Got cold hands in the winter? Well, your body has diverted most of the blood to your organs and constricted the vessels in your fingers, leaving them literally and figuratively out in the cold. Do you get embarrassed easily and your face flushes? Well, this is your body vasodilating all the vessels in the surface of your face as a defensive mechanism, trying to push more blood to your head to help your brain think of a way out of the situation, and only succeeding in making you even more self-conscious. So what does all that have to do with your ice cream headache? It turns out a lot. When you ingest something cold and it hits the roof of your mouth, which is full of blood vessels, these vessels have a sudden drop in temperature. It causes them to vasoconstrict. The sudden cold shock causes two main blood vessels at the base of the brain, the anterior cerebral artery and the interior carotid artery, to rapidly expand and contract in an effort to heat things back up. These rapid changes trigger nearby pain receptors. But if all this constricting and expanding of blood vessels is happening in the mouth, then why are we feeling the pain up in our forehead? Well, this is actually a story of referred pain. Pain that you feel in one place that's actually caused by something happening a long way away. Take, for instance, migraines. The pain you feel with migraine is thought to start from the complete other side of your head, specifically down at your brainstem. People with migraines tend to become light and sound sensitive. Well, it's because all of it's rooted at the brainstem, which connects to a whole bunch of other important areas, like the sensory cortex, which connects to a whole bunch of other important areas, like the sensory cortex of the brain, as well as your limbic system, which is also why people tend to feel sensitive and emotional during migraines. But again, why am I feeling up here pain that's apparently coming from down there? It's all referred pain. You see, the trigeminal nerve is this massive sensory nerve responsible for sensations all around the the face. Like the name trigeminal implies, it breaks up into 3 major branches. One for your jaw area, one for right under the eyes, and one for the forehead. The good news about this structure is that one part of your face has a good understanding about what the other parts of your face are doing. The bad news is that 3 branching structure is why you become utterly crippled on your 3rd bite of a DQ dilly bar. You see, because the trigeminal nerve's connected directly into your brainstem, when there's a problem happening down here during a migraine, the nerve is carrying those painful feelings up here to the forehead and face. It's referred pain. And this is why scientists, all those ice cream and 7-Eleven slushy scientists out there, think that brain freeze works in the same way. You sip your Slurpee, the mouth gets cold instantly, and all of a sudden the blood vessels in the mouth are freaking out, expanding and contracting. This rebound dilation sends a pain signal to the brain through the trigeminal nerve. But because this thing has all these other branches to it, we're actually feeling the pain up here, in the upper branches, just like we would with a headache. So great, now that we have as much knowledge about brain freeze as the majority of the scientific community, and yet we still haven't decided whether it can kill us. Well, first, it's important to note that not everyone gets brain freeze. Only 1/3 of the total population does, to which I say, jealous? This fact is also baffling to scientists because all the biological stuff that we just discussed, yeah, that's the body's natural response, so technically everyone should be having the same physical symptoms, and yet for some reason, they don't. It has been proven that if you're more susceptible to migraine, so sorry about that one, guys. It's kind of like lactose intolerance for slushies. Anyway, after looking online for any examples of dangerous cases of brain freeze, the consensus was that doctors tend to call it harmless. And it makes sense. Think about the science that we just covered here. What we're feeling is a headache resulting from changes in blood flow inside the mouth. The pain you feel, while certainly intense, is completely contained in your trigeminal nerve. You're not actually freezing tissue or damaging your brain. And to get a sustained effect from brain freeze would be even harder, since in order to keep your mouth as cold as it needs to trigger the reaction, you'd have to keep eating, something that is almost impossible because you're in so much pain. After digging real deep in the web, I was able to find just a handful of examples of people saying they pass out after chugging a slushie, which, while certainly not confirmed, seems like it could have been connected to brain freeze. But here, I actually suspect a different biological mechanism is going on. You pass out when your brain doesn't get enough blood, and I don't care how much your mouth temperature is fluctuating, the hard palate suddenly getting cold isn't going to be sucking away so much blood that it's going to hard reset the brain. Now, you know how some people faint at the sight of blood? That's called vasovagal syncope. When your body overreacts to some trigger, another major nerve, the vagus nerve, responsible for internal organ functions such as digestion and heart rate, signals for the heart rate and blood pressure to drop suddenly. That's what causes reduced blood flow to the brain and an ultimate loss of consciousness. Well, my guess, and it is truly my guess because no one's really bothered to look into these cases of passing out due to brain freeze, is that vasovagal syncope is what we're seeing here. Because the trigeminal nerve and the vagus both connect to the brainstem, one gets the brain freeze signal up here, which causes the vagus to overreact, drop the blood pressure, and cause the passing out. Scary? Certainly, but deadly? Definitely not. So, now that I was secure in the knowledge that I wouldn't die if I gave myself a lot of brain freeze, I wanted to run some experiments. So I'm pretty excited, because this experiment is going to have me eating Slurpees and ice cream and milkshakes, all my favorite desserts, to see what gives me brain freeze the fastest. So, equipped with 2 mega slushies, 2 milkshakes, and a giant tub of ice cream, so hard to open. Eventually a tub of ice cream, it was time to get testing, and very quickly my initial enthusiasm for the experiment wore off. I was so excited, Matt. I was so excited, but I powered through, and immediately there were some huge findings. If you want to never experience brain freeze again, start a food channel and do experiments on brain freeze that cause you immense personal pain and just ruin all your favorite foods. But my efforts weren't in vain. When comparing the brain freeziness of a slushie, which is just ice and sugar, to a dairy-based dessert like a milkshake or even ice cream, I found that the high ice content led to significantly faster and more intense brain freeze for me. I'm hypothesizing here that it has to do with the fact that the specific heat of water is actually higher than the specific heat of the average ice cream. A higher specific heat means that it takes more heat from your mouth to raise the temperature of water, or in the case of our slushie, the ice crystals. Ice cream, meanwhile, gets warmer with a little less energy, meaning that your mouth can more easily handle and neutralize the cold coming from those frozen desserts. More cold exposure means a faster and stronger vasoconstriction and nerve reaction, leading to more immediate and stronger brain freezes. This also aligns with other research that shows that children actually have brain freeze more often than adults. An article from the Cleveland Clinic suggests that kids are more likely to get brain freeze because they have smaller palates and throats, and when they're attacking the ice cream cone like a velociraptor, they're bombarding their their palate with way too much cold input that they don't have enough space to neutralize, setting off that strong trigeminal nerve response. My second major question, though, is something that I've seen in a lot of discussions: to straw or not to straw. According to my online research, straws are so effective at assisting the brain freeze process that the website foodchallenge.com advises you to not use a straw when engaging in an ice cream or milkshake eating contest. The theory goes that it serves as a direct pipeline up to the sensitive nerves on your palate, hitting them with the intense chills straight from the glass. Even competitive eater Matt Stoney moves away from using a straw during cold-based eating challenges. So what is the best strategy for avoiding brain freeze while eating your favorite frozen dessert? Well, going slowly, duh. But screw that noise, I'm looking to put these things down as fast as possible. So what's gonna give me the best chances of avoiding brain freeze? Spoon, straw, or straight chug? Shockingly, my personal experience didn't line up at all with the online hype that I'd read about straws. Chugging was far and away the fastest route to Freeze Town. Straws came in at second, and spoon was third. Basically, it all boiled down to volume and placement of the frozen treat. Straw, right into the back of my throat, but I was getting less of it because it has to go through the straw and I was having to constantly readjust, so it wasn't getting a constant flow. The spoon was landing in front of the mouth, but I was having to kind of push it back, and it was still lower volume. The chug, I was just getting a ton in there, front of mouth, back of mouth, whatever, and huge amounts. To be fair, the team would tell you that my mouth is definitely way too big, though, so my ability to pour huge amounts of ice cream into my face may be skewing the results a bit. One thing that was definitive, though, is that I had single-handedly made the worst ASMR video ever. So there you have it, friends. The results are in. Brain freeze, based on the limited amount of information that science has, is a weird cousin of the migraine. It works by hijacking one of the largest nerve pathways in your head to send referred pain up to your forehead when you should be experiencing it down in your mouth. You can take advantage of chemistry to give yourself the least amount of brain freeze by sticking with ice cream for yourself and saving all those ices and slushies for your enemies. And through it all, it is not deadly, so feel free to go forth and experiment yourself. Since I didn't experience brain freeze as easily with a straw, I'd love your input. Run a little experiment at home. If you've got a spare milkshake on hand, give it a chug with and without the straw and let me know in the comments which one gave you the brain freeze more quickly. It'll be a fun little poll to find out where Team Theorist gets all freezy. Now, if you'll excuse me, all this science has given me a headache, a real headache, so I'm gonna go lie down. But as always, remember, it's all just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. Oh.
You didn't answer the question.
Go away.
Bruh.
Oh. Oh. Oh, that's cold.
If you want to earn 60,000 bonus miles and great on doesn't, but during these uncertain times, there's always one thing you can rely on. The ice cream machine at McDonald's will always be broken. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, the show where I scream, you scream, we all scream for knowledge. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Matt, Pat, you just did a theory about McDonald's last week. Do you really need to do another one? And it's true. We here at Food Theory are McFans of the Golden Arches, but McDonald's is arguably one of the most influential restaurants in history. So, there's going to be a lot to say about them. And they're about to make history yet again. This time with their ice cream machines. Why are these things always broken? What if I told you that there's a conspiracy behind that broken machine? An actual fully fledged corporate conspiracy that goes all the way up the ladder. Don't believe me? I don't blame you, but I'm gonna prove it to you anyway. Today I'm gonna soft serve you up some history as we go on a tasty journey through McDonald's coldest conspiracy. The intrigue around McDonald's ice cream machine started nearly 2 decades ago, even before there was a website that told you which McDonald's ice cream machines were broken across the country. Yep, that is a real thing if you ever want to test it out. In fact, the McDonald's ice cream machines that are in service today seem to be the exact same model that were in production back in 2003, the Taylor C602. In case time has become meaningless for you in the last couple years like it has for me, 2003, 19 years ago. So McDonald's using this model of ice cream machine would be like if we all still use the original Motorola Razr phone with no internet connectivity and barely enough texting capability to break up with your girlfriend. According to them, the reason why McDonald's has to stick with the same manufacturer and also have only one manufacturer for ice cream machines across 13,000 stores is consistency. McDonald's always has to taste like McDonald's, no matter where you go in the world, so keeping everything the same maintains that quality standard, whatever the standard of quality of McDonald's is. Unfortunately, just like you would expect if we were all still using those same Razr phones, McDonald's employees have had a lot of issues with their die-hard Taylor C602s in the modern times. A lot of times when you go to McDonald's, they'll tell you that the machines are broken or that they're being cleaned. And I do mean a lot of times. As I write this, the broken rate for ice cream machines in my area is just about 12%, which is actually on the low end of this spectrum. New York right now is sitting at the insane 40% broken. LA, 15%. Why? Wendy's Frosty machine isn't constantly broken. Chick-fil-A is dishing up those milkshakes left and right. Even Burger King ice cream machines are functional, though we all know that no one would ever get the ice cream there because the correct answer is the Hershey's Sundae pie. So what's going on here? Well, according to my research, the Taylor C602 is designed to make both ice cream and milkshakes. It also doesn't need to be turned off and disassembled at the end of the day. Instead, it preserves its contents and self-cleans by going through a 4-hour heating cycle to kill bacteria. No manual cleaning, no waste, and no human error. Perfect if it worked, but it doesn't. It breaks all the time, and wouldn't you know it, the machine can only be serviced by a licensed Taylor repair engineer. And you can't even cheat your way around this. You can't even access the error codes on a C602 to see what's wrong. You are totally blind, which seems like a bad design decision, right? Well, yeah, bad for you, but great for Taylor. You see, Taylor, a company that makes ice cream machines, reportedly makes a whopping 25% of its revenue from service calls to fix those machines, which is just a massive portion of their earnings and certainly one that they can't afford to lose. And when you actually look at these things, it's no wonder that they make so much money on maintenance. Just check out this Taylor C602 maintenance schedule. There are 16 parts on the machine that need to be replaced every 3 months by one of their technicians. Apparently those O-rings are not built to last. These are made out of cotton candy. Practically everything else in here is on a 6-month cycle. Can you imagine buying any piece of kitchen equipment in your home that requires this amount of attention? The bottom line is that the maintenance on this machine pretty much is Taylor's bottom line. But again, it's not answering the question. Why doesn't McDonald's just go somewhere else for better ice cream machines? Well, if my research is right, it has nothing to do with machine parts or quality of service or better ice cream. Instead, it all boils down to the stock market. McDonald's is a publicly traded company, which means that the original owners of McDonald's don't own the whole company anymore. Far from it. Instead, the company is owned by shareholders, banks, and individual investors, each with their own chunk of the company, some big, some small. And the higher up you go in the ownership chain, the more complicated the relationship between McDonald's and Taylor gets. Now, follow me on this. McDonald's is huge, right? One of the biggest fast food chains in the world. So, as you can probably imagine, doing business with them can make or break a smaller company. And Taylor, along with its sister company Powerhouse Dynamics, have multiple exclusive products made specially for McDonald's, including, of course, the ice cream machines. As such, the success or failure of these companies is very closely tied to their relationship with the Golden Arches. When McDonald's expands, Taylor sells more equipment. When they close restaurants or people buy less McDonald's, Taylor feels that pain too. We can actually see this in the stock prices for both these companies. Taylor's parent company is Middleby Corporation, so that's whose stock price we're going to be looking at here. And as you can see, in 2020, when restaurants like McDonald's were hard hit by the pandemic at the end of February because everyone was eating at home, no one was going out, and no one was opening new restaurants with new equipment, Middleby's value tumbled too. When McDonald's lost about 30% of its value in a few days, Middleby was right behind the following week, losing 50%. Basically, what you're seeing here is evidence that the shareholders wait to see what happens to McDonald's, and then that directly affects the stock prices of Middleby. But again, how does this relate to McDonald's keeping broken ice cream machines? Well, there's one other entanglement here that we haven't talked about, which is that McDonald's and Middleby also share a number of key shareholder banks. The same big investors own a piece of both companies, meaning that their biggest investors want to see both of these companies winning, and the easiest way to do that is for them to continue working together. Comparing the top investors in each corporation, you can see that the top by far for both is the Vanguard Group, which is a massive investment company who owns tons and tons of pieces of companies across every sector all over the world. Vanguard is a big owner in both of these companies, owning 8.3% of McDonald's and over 9% of Middleby, which translates to billions of dollars
dollars that are on the line for their investors in just these two companies alone. But it's not just Vanguard. BlackRock Group comes in as the number 3 shareholder for both companies. Wellington Management is number 4 for McDonald's and number 2 for Middleby, and SSGA is number 2 and number 10. My point here is that while McDonald's and Middleby aren't the same companies, they are effectively owned by a lot of the same people, the same banks and investment companies, meaning that while they are legally separate, they're aiming to please the exact same group. People that know that Taylor is riding on the coattails of McDonald's. People who win when broken ice cream machines translate to massive repair bills, which translate to billions of dollars in the stock market. So
Copilot, make an image for my presentation. Think
air bills, which translate to billions of dollars in the stock market. So the next time you roll up to the drive-thru at the local Golden Arches for some soft serve and get turned away, just know that you're helping to line some fat cat Wall Street investor pockets. But there is one way that all of this might end up benefiting you, and that's because this whole broken ice cream thing is tied up in the hot right to repair has become something of a hot button issue in recent years. It originated with automobiles, so you could take your broken car to any repair shop. Before legislation, you would only be able to go to the original manufacturer, which meant that they could charge you whatever they wanted because you weren't able to go anywhere else, at least not without voiding your warranty. That's what's called a monopoly. So this is where the original right to repair legislation came from, because why shouldn't you, the owner of the car, be allowed to repair it however you choose? It's not rocket science, but historically companies have been extremely protective about who can service their machines because, as we just saw with Taylor, they stand to make a lot of money when they have a monopoly over the ability to service their product. In recent years, we've seen right to repair pop up again as an issue in the electronics industry, covering everything from home electronics like your washer, dryer, and oven to personal devices like your phone and computer. Apple, who up until recently refused to let third-party repair shops have access to parts or manuals to repair your phone, used to charge a ton to fix it at the Apple Store. The only reason the tide has begun to change in this is because late last year, President Biden signed an executive order directing the FTC to draft new regulations limiting all this. And would you know it, the FTC has chosen to use an example company in their investigation for right to repair our very own McDonald's and their ice cream machines. You see, a few years ago, Jeremy O'Sullivan and Melissa Nelson wanted to create a delicious, deceptively bad-for-you frozen yogurt dessert, and they found that the heating and cooling process of the Taylor C602 was perfect for pasteurizing their product. When you're pasteurizing, the National Sanitation Foundation requires that the temperature...
Wait a minute.
Really becoming an ARG at this point and managed to unlock the ice cream machine that they already owned by remembering and inputting this secret code. From there, they wanted to develop a way to bypass the code entirely, so they built the Kitch, an extra component that attaches to the C602 to give users live temperature readings and error codes. You know, all that stuff that you kinda need to operate the machine that you own. Kitch began selling to fast food companies all over the country, including McDonald's. So now, franchise owners and managers could prevent breakdowns, stop losing revenue on ice cream that they couldn't serve, and stay out of the line of fire of angry customers. However, when Taylor got wind of what was going on, they were less than happy about it. I guess you could say that their relationship with Kitch really soured, went from soft serve to hard, I don't know, editors, just put in a laugh track here. Thank you, it boosts my ego. So, now Taylor was crabby about people hacking their machines. They declare that if you use a Kitch device, you void the machine's warranty. And so McDonald's releases a notice to franchisees telling them to remove Kitch from the ice cream machines because they may, quote, endanger employees. This, to me, reads as a clear instance of the two companies working together for the benefit of the shareholders. I mean, endanger employees? Yeah, all right, McDonald's. Meanwhile, those sneaky sons of guns over at Taylor go to work building the Taylor Shake Sunday Connectivity, a kit that attaches to their own machines to do the same thing that Kitch was doing, just, you know, not as transparently and still with hidden control menus that are only accessible to Taylor engineers. A kit that also appears to have been stolen almost directly from Kitch. Taylor allegedly tried to obtain multiple Kitch devices by using fake names and addresses. Then, emails from mid-2020 show the vice president of engineering at Taylor requesting designers to make their interface fun and
relevant, showing screenshots of Kitsch's interface next to their own in the email itself. There were also slides from internal presentations where Kitsch's interface was shown next to Taylor's, and Taylor suggested that they make, quote, similar changes. That is a big bummer there. And finally, one last tasty scoop, again thanks to Taylor's VP of Engineering, we see they asked an employee to, quote, please buy a Kitsch kit and provide me a written evaluation on the hardware and software. Guys, you're not allowed to do that as a big company. And now Kitsch is suing Taylor for corporate espionage, stealing the trade secrets of their device. A device that gave franchise owners the power to fix their faulty machines. It gave them the right to repair. Right to repair is a threat to Taylor and to many companies who make their money off of fixing their own machines. And how this whole McDonald's ice cream investigation plays out is ultimately going to affect you and your products. In the meantime, though, the best way to combat the issue as an individual is to pick products in your house that don't require a specialty repair service. Get a Whirlpool dishwasher instead of an expensive Miele. Instead of an Il Bagno Alessi dot toilet, just get a Kohler and call whatever plumber you want after you've had one too many chicken nuggets. If the FTC investigation into McDonald's brings this issue to light more, it can only mean good things for consumers, able to give their business to companies who don't sell you a broken product just so that they can microtransact you to death with service calls later. While I certainly do think there's a case to be made for the importance of protecting trade secrets, there's definitely a solution out there that allows us to have our ice cream and eat it too. But hey, as great as it'll be to have all that ice cream at your fingertips, it's probably not going to be the healthiest thing for you, which is why I'm thankful for today's sponsor, Noom. Like many of us after the holidays, I've decided to take the use of science and psychology. Haven't had a single Diet Coke yet. So if that doesn't prove something, take that free 30-second quiz and start living your best healthy life. And as always, remember, it's all just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit.
Yeah, totally. Wasn't gonna say anything different.
I'm a retired lieutenant colonel in the United States Marine Corps. I've served.
Do thing. Really well. That's not looking. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. It's kind of cool. Don't. Okay. I'm not obsessed with this, okay? So it's just my favorite. My lock screen is different. I can prove it to you, but I can't also. Because my screen, I'm telling the truth. I think my screen, does not film. Oh, wait, I can turn off my tablet. And yeah, I can't. Amazing keyboard that it makes things more complicated than it needs to be. So, if I click on emojis here, this is something I'm not used to. These little things. These 10 out of 10 homeless cowboy, present with face cat with, I'm crying. Yeah, no matter. So I'm not used to these things that I'm facing them. And also, yeah, I don't know how to. It makes getting to things harder. I did not look up flags, half mouse today, bad bunny, gory. What? I didn't look up. I didn't look up Blue Jays. Okay, I don't know what people are looking up. Blue Jays. Eric Maxwell. Flags half today. What? Flags half the flags today. Yes. Flags have today. Flags have met Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every time I go and Google, it's different soldiers. Every single day. Boop. So, let's do this. Let's go and draw. Not in my style, because why would I? Don't mind nothing. Okay, what? Okay, none of this is in my style, but this, I'm sorry for what I did to you, girl. You're kinda not in my style. No, you're not in my style. I don't know what you are. And then, not that. The only ones who are in my style are this and this, kind of. So, let's go draw a nice style. Yeah, like what I said. Not. So, one brush. Yeah, this is the brush that I'm going to use. Want to live chess. So, we're gonna be drawing not my style, like I said before. So, first we got this, then we have this. Let's draw a little stick man. That's not my style. Just kidding. This, I don't know. I can. Yeah. So, yeah. If you didn't know, I'm drawing on not build mode. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's start with a circle head because we're not drawing in my style. What? And then my style body. Wait, I have a great transition. Wait, so. No, wait. We gotta do the whole trim. So this is a painting I did. Oh, so this is a painting I did. It's like a little sunset. I tried to make it blur, but it kind of looks bad. Don't worry, I'm laying on. I'm layering. I'm layering on. I'm layering on it. Layering. So let's do that again. Okay, this time we're gonna show my real art. Wait, let's retry that. So let's do this.
Like, is the game just rage baiting me? And I'm like, do I just give in and be a savage? Right? Don't want to be like that.
Boop. This is a creation of my own thing. I am very sad that I had to delete Life is Pain. I'm very sad. Anyways, this is my actual art. Yeah, this is my actual art. And if you enjoy the video, I hope you enjoy this one.
More Mega Man. I was watching that. Hey, false.
Yeah.
Watching
So yeah. Bye bye. I'll edit this later.